Closed captioning for sport fishing on the fly is brought to you by The Frog Boat, inspired by nature, ingenious by design.
Chironomid fishing is a very effective method to use during the spring when fish are keying on these abundant insects. Today we're fishing with well-known author and fly fisher Brian Chan. Brian is a senior fisheries biologist, and when it comes to chironomid fishing, he's considered one of the best. We met Brian at White Lake, which is located just north of Salmon Arm and is one of the best chironomid lakes in British Columbia due to its many shoals. So join us today with Brian Chan for some chironomid fishing on Sport Fishing on the Fly.
Sport Fishing on the Fly is brought to you in part by Islander Reels, G. Loomis Rods, and Cloudvale Outdoor Gear.
All right, fish on.
We got one.
All right.
Knew they were in there. Not a monster, but
Hey, that's all right.
first fish of the day. This little wind chop we got, it's perfect.
It's ideal, isn't it?
Just we can't see them now. Oh boy, he's going.
He's fighting pretty good.
We can't see them, they can't see us now.
Exactly, it's just perfect. So you got them on the...
I put on a little 14 maroon and copper beadhead chironomid special.
Chironomid. Right on. Well, the neat thing was we kind of scouted it out too. You were saying that, you know, you saw a few fish moving in that shallow, and we slid in further. Well, at least they moved up onto the shoal.
Yeah.
We were worried about that. We're out in the deep water. And we're going,
really we didn't want to cast 30-foot leaders today.
Exactly. Well, that's good. That's a good start. Gee, we just got out here. We only took a few casts.
Yeah.
That's nice.
Jeez, I can't believe how hard he fought for us.
Yeah. Good run.
Chunky fish.
There he is. All right.
I'm just going to do a little stomach pump, a little throat pump on him, Don, just to see what he's eating.
That's a good idea. We'll see what
maybe we can fine tune what's going on down there.
Yeah. Well, being a biologist, you would know right away anyways. You know, we could look at it, we'd say, oh, that was one of those little red and green things, but Brian will know exactly what it is.
He's eating a few, but nice little fish.
Yeah, nice fish. You bet. All right. Well, let's have a look at that little stomach sample, and we'll see what he was chowing on.
They're pretty small chironomids, but they're eating anyways. That's the important thing.
Well, that's neat.
And they're all alive, so.
Look at that with the red rib, the silver.
You see that?
Silver with the red rib.
Yeah. Yep.
Is that a usual one in here? That silver with red rib?
Yep. Yeah, it's very common in a lot of lakes around here, actually.
Unreal.
There's been 2,500 species identified in North America, and there's probably another 5,000 that haven't.
2,500.
Yep.
You know, we said one of our previous shows, we said there's hundreds of different types, but 2,500.
That have been identified.
Well, you look at the wild, and there's probably 5 different species in there.
They're the most diverse aquatic invertebrate out there.
Unreal. All right.
Oh, a little
nice,
bigger.
Right. Oh, yeah, beautiful. Oh, and he got off.
Unbuttoned.
That was good, though. Good scrapper.
Good, well lasted.
Hey, there's a few moving on the shoal. That's a good sign. And again, now we should talk a little bit about the chironomid.
Sure.
The economist. What is it now?
Well, I put on a small, about a 14 maroon with a bright copper rib.
Oh, there we go.
There we go.
Nice one. Oh, gee. On the little guy. Yeah.
And you've got a little 14 on too.
And I've got a little 14 on. One that you just gave me.
Just gave a little silver maroon, and we changed flies for you because after that fish we pumped, that's the fly that was in his gut.
The fly you said, and we looked at it, and we showed everybody the vial. And
There you
that's
go.
exactly what was in it. Nice little chironomid with the nice red strip and the gray body. Killer. Unreal. So I think after we get this guy in, what do you say? We go to the bench and we'll tie one of these flies up.
I think we should.
Yeah.
We might need an extra one.
Yeah, exactly. Boy, this guy's tough.
They're mean, aren't they?
Oh, they're nasty fish. Well, I'll get this guy up. He's fighting good.
Here we go.
Should we give this guy a little pump too?
I think we should.
Okay.
I'll let him.
I'll let you do the honors and I'll get him up. He's a nice fish.
Fish.
Okay, so I'll give him that. I'll give you that.
Yeah, we'll do a throw pump on this one.
I think so.
Don, and just a close up, and the viewers can see what we're doing.
Yeah.
So what I've got is a little what's marketed as a stomach pump, but actually what we're doing is only sampling the last few food items in the throat of the fish.
Okay.
So really, it is a throat pump, and not a stomach pump.
Okay. And people should really pay attention because you were telling me before, if you don't do this properly, you can really damage your fish.
Yeah, and so, yeah, used improperly, you can kill a fish. And if you do it on real small fish, you can kill a fish. So usually 12 inches or more to pump a fish.
General rule?
Yeah.
Okay.
So we'll just get that net in the water.
Okay.
What you want to do is first get this fish quiet, and you can really calm them down by holding them upside down.
Exactly.
In the water.
Try to stress that a lot.
Take your throat pump, squeeze it in the water, get it well lubricated, but get the water out of the pump. So there's
no water in the pump.
You don't want to be doing that into the fish.
Okay.
So it's wet. You just slide it in till you feel it narrowing of the esophagus.
Okay.
And see the bulb stays depressed.
Yeah.
Because you've got a bit of a vacuum created. And I didn't get a good one there, so I'm gonna go back in.
So make sure no water's in the pump and have it depressed.
Have it depressed. Slide it in. We create the vacuum. There you go. That's all there is to it. And then we can let the fish go.
All right. That's a nice fish.
Yep. He's happy.
Healthy size. All right.
So now we got the guys in the
sample,
and we can just. So we got a whole.
Look at the scud.
Yeah, this guy was eating shrimp.
Was he ever?
Shrimp and a few chironomids.
And there you go. That tells you the whole story of the fish. What he's feeding on, how it'll change through the day. So if if it starts slowing down, maybe the fish has changed his diet.
Yeah. Yeah, I like to pump every third or fifth fish I catch, and because especially when we're fishing chironomids, during the day they may switch 3 colors. They go little green ones in the morning to small black ones to little maroon ones, and fish aren't colorblind, so you've got to pay attention to what's going on.
That's awesome. Well, geez, we've had such a great day today. I cornered you out there and said you're going to have to come in and tie up that fly that we're catching all the fish on. What is it called?
We're going to tie up a maroon bead-headed chironomid.
Okay. Everybody make sure you have these materials ready before you tie this fly. We're going to tie the fly on a TMC 2457 size 12 scud pupa hook. We're going to use some 8/0 maroon thread. We'll use some red copper wire for the tag, some maroon frostbite for the body. For the rib, we'll tie in some red copper wire. For the thorax, we'll use some peacock herl, silver tungsten bead for the bead, and some white antron for the gills. All right, let's start with the tie.
Okay, Don, we'll lay down a base of maroon tying thread to start off with. Actually, we're just going to tie it in right at the head of the fly because we're going to slip on the gills first and then the bead over that.
Oh, okay.
Then we're going to take our white antron, chop off a bit and then pull some off. We want a pretty prominent white gills out front.
Okay.
So we're going to tie that in, trim it, and then we're going to tie it off with a whip finisher. Okay. Take the fly out of the hook, and we've already debarbed the hook.
Okay.
So then we're going to slip the bead over, and the beads have got a wide end and a narrow end. You want to slide the wide end over first. Then we're going to retie our maroon thread behind the bead. And because the material, the frostbite we're going to use is pretty thin, we're going to use the tying thread to build up the body a bit.
Okay.
Okay, then we're going to tie in our pretty bright red copper wire. So
is that fine?
Yeah, it's the fine copper wire. Okay. And then we're going to take a frostbite, and it's a multi-stranded filaments of plastic. That's all this. So we want to pull some of the strands out, give it a bit of a tug.
Okay.
And it'll straighten out a little bit. And we're going to tie it in at the end of the hook, and then we're just going to work the frostbite body.
Gives it a nice sparkly body, doesn't it?
You want the reason why frostbite works so well is because it gives a nice sheen to the fly, which imitates the gases that trap under the abdomen and thorax. Okay. So once that's finished, we've tied the fly off now behind the bead. We take our red copper wire, and you want to make 3 or 4 wraps as a tag.
Okay.
Before you start the rib. And the rib is going in the opposite direction that the frostbite was wound down. And I've got about 7 or 8 wraps here. And now we're ready just to, you could finish the fly now without a collar, but it's always nice to put a bit of a collar of the peacock just to imitate the hump that the pupa naturally have, the chironomid pupa naturally have.
Oh, okay. And
so we're just going to tie that off. And so the beauty of this fly is that it's got a heavy bead. That tungsten bead sinks really fast. So the bead makes the fly sink fast. It's silver, it's quite shiny, and it's a bit of an attractant. And then having a bead-headed fly, the fly just undulates a little bit more when it's being retrieved.
And it gets down there in a hurry.
And this is for people who don't want to wait.
Yeah, exactly. Like me.
That's right. That's right. And then we just trim this, the antenna or the gill just a little bit and flare them. That's the finished fly.
Thanks for the tie.
You're welcome, Don.
Why don't we take that one and get back out there?
Sounds good.
Maybe you could tie up a couple more.
Yeah, I thought you were going to.
The way I'm losing them. Another, and he just smoked it. Just smoked it. 2 more casts. I took the fish off, waited a cast, took 1 more cast, bang, into another fish. Wow, this is unreal.
No, it's good.
Oh, man.
They pull, don't they?
Oh, oh, look at that guy. He's just going.
Well, you think about it, all those real guys are hatching there, and they're all just floating up to the surface. Oh. And then they see this one twitch sideways.
That's all it took.
That's all it takes.
You know, that guy, he might have followed it for a while, but as soon as I made a couple of quicker strips, he popped it. Oh, that fly we tied on the bench, awesome. Just a killer pattern. You know, I had my traditional ones. I had my traditional blacks and greens and things that I've used that we've pumped fish in our area. But every lake is different.
That's right.
Every lake is different, so. Well, you know what we should get into, Brian, is this actual recommended setup. The ideal setup for how we're fishing today.
Sure.
While I release this guy, maybe you can talk about it.
Well, what we're doing, we're anchored in about 8 feet of water, and we're casting into about 5. The fish are moving in there, we saw some. So we're using floating lines and pretty long leaders, almost 18 to 20 feet in length, simply because this water's gin clear, and we want to keep our fly a long ways away from our fly line, try not to spook them. And probably what the viewers really want to see today is that we've got a slight riffle on the water, and that really masks us from the fish. They can't see us, and we can't see them, and they're a little more confident, they're a little happier to feed, and that's what's doing it.
Exactly.
And we've matched the hatch today. It's what it's all about.
Exactly.
Any kind of fly fishing when you're fishing imitating insects.
And before we started, you cruised the shoals. We actually scouted them out until we saw a few fish.
Yeah, it was, we spent half an hour going around looking, but it paid off.
It did, oh, for sure. Well, I'll try to get this guy out.
It's a beautiful fish.
Oh, it's a very nice fish. There he is there. Oh. That's a nice bow, that's a few pounds.
Oh, yeah.
Very, very healthy. We'll let him go. There he goes. Ho, ho, ho. So we should talk about retrieval techniques using with the chironomids.
Sure. Yeah, obviously the biggest thing you want to remember is that those pupa, the chironomid pupa, are only rising to the surface of the lake and they're not swimming.
Right.
And that's why everybody's heard about how slow these retrieves have to be, because we really don't want to imitate horizontal movement because they're just coming up to the water column.
And they do come up vertically.
They come vertically, straight up. They trap gas under their abdomen, thorax, and that's what floats into the surface. So with the floating line situation, or even if we're fishing with the wet line, like a real slow hand twist retrieve like this, which just keeps the hands busy. And if you don't have patience, it's a good retrieve to learn because it does slow you down.
Kind of like a little figure eight.
Yeah, just little figure eights between your thumb and your index finger, and then around the baby finger. But then, as you know, it's real critical that every once in a while,
give it some movement.
Just give it something different, because there's just hundreds of fish, or chironomids, rising all around the boat and hatching, and you just want to have something slightly different that's moving in the water.
Something to attract them.
Just a little jerky movement that says, gee, gotta go look at that one a little closer.
Yeah. So we've come to the new location now. Like we just left the spot because there was no wind. We come up here, we do have a nice little chop on the water, but now we look down where we just left and they got a real good wind. What'd the wind do? It did like 180.
It just switched right around, but we've seen 2 fish already move.
That's right, and they're in a little shallower.
So that's good, we'll sneak in on them.
Good, excellent. And that's another thing, be stealthy. We've got the oars, we've got the motor for buzzing around. That's where it's really nice to be in a boat. All right, well, I'll get this guy up. Oh, man. Not ready yet.
Not ready yet, no.
Man, oh man. What makes this lake so special, I think, are the shoals that you get in this lake.
Yeah, it's these huge, extensive, shallow areas that it grows all the food that these fish eat. And the more you got in the lake, the more productive it is, and the more opportunity you get a chance to grow nice fish like we're catching.
Exactly. And these are all beautiful fish. And I mean, everywhere I look around this lake, there are shoals. Like this lake is made up of shoals.
Yeah, you betcha.
Well, let's see if we can get this guy in. I think he's ready. There he is. All right. I'll unhook him. Again, we're using all the barbless hooks. Nice little chironomids. Hooks out. Give everybody a little look at this guy. There he is.
Beauty.
It's a nice fish. It's healthy bow.
You bet.
And we'll get him back. Oh! Second shower today. Oh, yeah.
First cast after we saw what was in their gut.
Unreal.
First, yeah, changed to the color that's in there.
First cast. First cast after we looked at the new vial.
That's right.
Unbelievable. So what did you change to then? We looked at the vial. The magic vial after the stomach pump. Oh, did he get off?
No.
Oh, he's still there.
The loon's chasing him.
The loon's chasing him.
Get out of here, you. Ah! Uh-oh, now he's gone.
Now he's gone. And the loon was chasing him.
The loon was chasing him. Look at the loon going 90 miles after him.
Unbelievable. Well, that was good though. So that was the first cast after we looked at stomach pumped and other fish, or throat pumped, we should say. So what did you put on?
I just put a little small maroon and red.
And that's what was in here. I mean, if we look at the
yeah, it's very similar to what's in there.
Very similar. Darker body now, not the silver. Now it's a darker black with the red rib. Yeah,
that's right.
And that was your first cast, and bang.
The loon got him.
And that shows you, chironomiding, You can go out in the morning, you got a hatch of a certain chironomid. You go back in the afternoon, totally different hatch.
That's what makes it so much fun and frustrating.
Oh, because the fish are
they're
still
all
there.
over here.
Yeah, we can still
They're still
see.
there.
Well, let's get some more. That's unreal. Oh, I love it.
So what he's doing now, he's turning him sideways, and they pinch his head.
Stop him from breathing.
Stop him from breathing, and then head first.
Unreal. Yeah, look at the fish now. I can see them, and they're all moving around. Oh, that's a beauty.
Nice fish.
Oh, just big aerials, eh? Now, what kind of trout are they in here?
They're a mix of native, wild. There's a creek here, and they spawn naturally.
Okay.
And then we stock it with Panask.
And Panask are known for their big aerial shows.
They like to jump.
Oh, do they ever?
Might have something to do with a hook in their mouth, I'm not sure.
Yeah. Yeah. Unreal. That's good talk. So what did you put on this time? What did you have on?
Well, after we looked at that vial with the smaller chironomid pupa, and I put a 16 maroon one with a copper. Oh, last one.
Just a little guy. Oh, no, you got off?
Fell off.
Well, looks like the weather's turning on us a bit here.
Yeah, it's starting to break down, and I can see some pretty good rain squalls in the background there, so I think we're going to get wet.
We're going to get wet. But hey, I want to thank you for a great day.
No problem, Don.
I learned a ton.
Yeah, great chironomid fishing, a little technical lesson on how they change colors during the day, the pupa.
Exactly.
But we managed to throat pump a few fish and find out how the color and size switch during the day, and we're able to catch a few more fish.
Well, I was very fortunate. Not very often do you get to come out with somebody as knowledgeable as Brian, the king of chironomids. That's all you can say about him. Again, if you ever come to White Lake or any other lake, make sure you conserve the waters to get a great fish reel like this one here. We'll see you next time when we take you sport fishing on the fly. Again, thanks a lot.
That's great.
Have a good day.
You betcha.